In the world of global aviation, a shockwave is rippling from the United States, one that could change the very landscape of the aerospace industry as we know it. The future of one of America's most iconic companies is suddenly in question, and the world is taking notice. Boeing, the American aerospace giant, is rumored to be eyeing a major shift north to Canada. Whispers of boardroom discussions and strategic meetings have fueled speculation that the company is seriously considering moving significant operations across the border. For decades, Boeing has been synonymous with American engineering and innovation, but now, the possibility of a new home in Canada is on the table. This isn't just a business move, it could reshape supply chains, threaten thousands of US jobs, and challenge America's industrial dominance. The ripple effects would be felt far beyond Boeing's own workforce, impacting suppliers, logistics companies, and entire communities that rely on the aerospace sector for their livelihoods. Why would Boeing, a symbol of American innovation, consider such a drastic step? The answer lies in a complex web of economic pressures and policy changes that have put the company in a difficult position. Executives are weighing their options, knowing that any decision will have far-reaching consequences. The answer: new U.S. tariffs on imported aluminum and steel, the backbone of aircraft manufacturing, are driving up costs and threatening Boeing's global competitiveness. These tariffs, intended to protect American industry, have instead made it more expensive for Boeing to source the materials it needs, squeezing profit margins and putting pressure on the company to find alternatives. For decades, Boeing thrived on a seamless North American supply chain. Parts and materials flowed freely across borders, allowing the company to build some of the world's most advanced aircraft efficiently and cost-effectively. But now, that system is under threat, and the company must adapt or risk falling behind. Now these tariffs force a choice: absorb the costs, and risk losing to Airbus, or move operations to avoid them. The world is watching as Boeing faces a dilemma: stay and fight an uphill battle, or relocate to maintain its edge in a fiercely competitive market. The stakes couldn't be higher, with rivals like Airbus ready to capitalize on any misstep. A shift by Boeing could trigger a domino effect, with other manufacturers reconsidering their US presence. If Boeing moves, it could set a precedent, encouraging other companies to seek more favorable conditions elsewhere, potentially hollowing out America's manufacturing base. This isn't just about one company, it's about the future of American manufacturing. The decisions made today will shape the economic landscape for years to come, affecting not just corporations, but families and communities across the nation. The question is no longer if these policies will have an impact, but how deep the cuts will go. As factories face uncertainty and workers worry about their jobs, the broader implications for the US economy are becoming impossible to ignore. Will Boeing become the first major casualty of America's new trade war? Or will it find a way to weather the storm? The answer could redefine the future of the aerospace industry, and the nation itself. To grasp Boeing's dilemma, you need to understand the deep US-Canada aerospace partnership. For decades, parts and materials have flowed freely across the border, creating a North American powerhouse. Canada isn't just a customer, it's a vital supplier, especially of green aluminum, which the US now struggles to produce at scale. This integration, cemented by NAFTA and USMCA, allowed companies like Boeing to innovate and compete globally. A single Boeing jet might cross the border multiple times during assembly, a testament to this unique alliance. Now tariffs threaten to unravel a partnership that's been the backbone of North American aerospace success. In early 2025, the US government made a bold and controversial move, imposing a sweeping 25% tariff on all imported aluminum and steel. This decision was intended to protect domestic industries and jobs, but it sent immediate ripples through the global economy. The tariffs didn't just target distant countries, they included close trading partners like Canada and Mexico, disrupting the very foundation of North American trade. For decades, free trade agreements had allowed industries to flourish across borders. Now, with a single policy change, companies that relied on seamless access to materials faced sudden uncertainty and confusion. Headlines warned of a new era of trade disruption, and business leaders scrambled to assess the fallout. For Boeing, one of America's industrial giants, the impact was immediate and severe. The tariffs drove up the cost of essential raw materials, forcing the company to rethink its entire supply strategy and casting doubt on its long-term competitiveness. Suddenly, the highly integrated North American supply chain, once a source of strength, became a major vulnerability. Canadian-made aircraft parts, crucial for Boeing's production lines, now faced steep taxes at the U.S. border, threatening delays and higher costs. Already grappling with production delays and regulatory hurdles, Boeing now faced a new and daunting challenge: the risk of being priced out of the fiercely competitive global market. As costs soared and timelines slipped, the result was stark. American-assembled planes, once a symbol of efficiency and value, suddenly became more expensive than those of global rivals, like Airbus, putting U.S. aerospace at a disadvantage in the eyes of international buyers. The industry's traditional strengths, efficiency, integration, and scale, were now exposed as potential weaknesses, as the very systems that once drove growth became sources of risk and instability. As Boeing and its suppliers scrambled to adapt, the entire U.S. aerospace sector found itself on uncertain ground, facing a crisis that threatened jobs, innovation, and America's leadership in the skies. The stakes have never been higher, and the future of American aerospace now hangs in the balance. Amid escalating trade tensions between the U.S. and Canada, a massive order from Canadian airline WestJet in September 2025 gave Boeing a much-needed boost: 67 new planes, with options for even more in the future. This deal arrived at a critical moment for Boeing, which had been struggling with uncertainty in its international markets and facing mounting pressure from global competitors. On the surface, it's a straightforward business win. WestJet needs to modernize its fleet with efficient, reliable jets, and Boeing is eager to deliver. The deal promises to refresh WestJet's operations and keep the airline competitive in a rapidly changing industry. But beneath the headlines, the timing is deeply political. Canadian officials are quick to highlight the agreement as proof of the enduring economic partnership between the two countries, even as new tariffs and trade disputes threaten to unravel decades of cooperation. The order supports thousands of jobs on both sides of the border, from engineers and assembly line workers to suppliers and logistics teams. It underscores Canada's unique position as both a vital supplier of aerospace components and a major customer for American-made aircraft. The message is subtle but clear. If the U.S. chooses to penalize Canada with protectionist measures, it could backfire, putting American jobs and companies at risk. The interconnectedness of the aerospace industry means that actions on one side of the border have ripple effects on the other. For Boeing, the WestJet deal is more than just a contract. It's a lifeline that helps stabilize the company's future. For policymakers, it's a stark reminder that trade wars have real, tangible consequences for workers, businesses, and entire communities. The WestJet order stands as more than a business transaction. It's a powerful symbol of what's truly at stake when international partnerships are put to the test. As tensions simmer, the question remains: will the U.S. risk these vital partnerships and the prosperity they bring, all for the sake of protectionism? The answer could shape the future of North American aviation for years to come. The 25% tariffs on aluminum and steel aren't just numbers. They're a direct hit to U.S. aerospace. Aircraft require specialized materials, and most U.S. suppliers can't meet demand without Canadian imports. The tariffs drive up costs for every American-made plane, squeezing suppliers and forcing tough choices: absorb losses or pass costs to Boeing. The result? U.S. planes become pricier, while Airbus, with its tariff-free supply chain, gains a global edge. In a market where small price differences decide billion-dollar deals, these tariffs could cost Boeing sales and jobs. The U.S. aerospace trade surplus, once a point of pride, is now at risk. Instead of protecting American industry, tariffs threaten to cripple one of its most successful sectors. It's a self-inflicted wound in the race for global leadership. The real victims of these tariffs aren't just corporations, they're American workers. Aerospace jobs are high-skill, high-wage, and support entire communities. History shows that for every job protected in steel, dozens are lost in industries that use it, like aerospace. As costs rise, Boeing and its suppliers face layoffs, reduced contracts, and shrinking production. The ripple effect is devastating. One lost aerospace job can mean several more lost in local businesses. The cross-border supply chain, once a strength, now threatens U.S. jobs as companies consider moving work to Canada. The very workers' tariffs claimed to protect could become their biggest casualties. This isn't just a Seattle problem, it's a national crisis. The future of American manufacturing jobs hangs in the balance. For Boeing, moving operations to Canada isn't about cheap labor, it's about survival. By manufacturing in Canada, Boeing can avoid US tariffs, restore its cost advantage, and tap into a skilled workforce. Canada's aerospace sector is world-class, with expertise in engines, avionics, and green aluminum. Using Canadian green aluminum also boosts Boeing's environmental credentials, a growing priority for airlines. If trade tensions escalate, Canada could retaliate, making US-only operations even riskier. Expanding in Canada offers stability, cost savings, and a hedge against future trade wars. For Boeing, the northward move is a defensive strategy in an unpredictable world. Trade experts and industry leaders are united. These tariffs are a dangerous mistake. The aerospace sector's global supply chain, once its greatest strength, is now its Achilles heel in a trade war. Industry groups have pleaded for exemptions, warning that tariffs hand a competitive edge to Airbus and other rivals. The risk? A slow exodus of manufacturing from the US. First parts, then entire assembly lines. Once lost, these high-skilled jobs and capabilities are hard to recover. The breakdown of US-Canada trade could also have geopolitical fallout, pushing investment to Europe or Asia. The message is clear: protectionism threatens America's industrial future. The aerospace sector could be the first, and most painful, casualty. Boeing's story is a warning for American industry. The choice is stark: cling to protectionism and risk losing global leadership, or embrace the partnerships that built decades of success. The US-Canada supply chain was a model of efficiency and innovation. Tariffs threaten to break it. The world is watching to see if America will double down on isolation or return to cooperation. The outcome will shape the nation's reputation as a place to do business. Policymakers must look beyond short-term politics and protect the long-term health of American industry. The sky is not the limit, it's the prize. The decisions made now will decide who claims it tomorrow.